Hi everyone. This is part 8 in the Get to Know Me series. As you can probably already tell, I am not going to be whispering in this video. I'm going to do the whole video soft spoken. I thought it would be kind of a nice change. I don't have a lot to show you all today, just kind of some things that I've saved over the years, some tickets and things like that. And then I'm going to briefly read one of the chapters in this book, but it is somewhat of a sad chapter. It talks about when my grandmother passed away, and I really debated for a while whether or not I even wanted to do that for this video, but I'm gonna go ahead and put it in here. I feel like at least the last two were kind of sad. So I'm looking at my book right here, and the next chapter after this is going to be a much happier chapter. Thank goodness. So if you all are triggered by death or anything like that, this is a warning that you're probably not going to want to watch this video. It's not going to be too bad, but I know that there were several people who had commented before saying that they were sad listening to what I had to say about death and just things like that. So this is just kind of a warning that I will be talking about that in this video. Okay, let's go ahead and get started with some of the more lighter stuff. I save a lot of things such as movie tickets, just tickets in general. Like when we went to Disney World, I've always saved our tickets every time that we've gone, and I'm really glad that I do because it's kind of cool to look back at things and just remember going there, but also just how much things change over time. This right here is a ticket for Six Flags, and it's the Six Flags over Georgia. And let's see, at that time the adult ticket was $17.32, and now I believe the adult tickets are over $40 for the day. So let's see, I'm trying to look for the date on here, April 11th, 1999. So you're talking about 16 years, and that's just crazy to me. I don't remember this specific trip, but we used to go to Six Flags every year, at least once a year. So this was obviously one of those times. But yeah, I'm trying to make sure it doesn't have anything weird on here, like my full name or anything. But this is what it looked like. We got Batman right here. I love Batman. Most of you probably already know that though. And the next one is I think this is just a brochure. It's not a ticket, from Zoo Atlanta. And I have not been back to the zoo since, gosh, probably 2002, 2003, and I want to go so badly. So maybe, I'm thinking maybe this summer we'll go. I don't know. The next ticket is from Ripley's Aquarium, and that was in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. I've been to the one in Myrtle Beach, and also I think they have one in Gatlinburg that I went to. It seems like it. Yeah. Okay, so this one is from July 29th, 1999, and it looks like we visited at 8:31 p.m. I do remember this. I remember going to South Carolina. I remember that trip. So that's what it looked like. And the next ticket looks like it was I remember this. It was a concert that we went to at the Georgia Dome back in 1999, and it was an oldies concert. So they had a bunch of different groups that performed oldies songs. They were kind of like tribute artists and things like that, and it was really cool. I remember we sat kind of high up. This says we were in the lower section, but I remember our seats being very high up. So I don't know if we switched with someone or how that happened, but I do remember being quite high. And that was May 15th, 1999. So this is it right here. I'm hoping the glare is not too bad from the window. The next ticket that I saved is from an Atlanta Braves game in 1999 as well, and it is when they played the Baltimore Orioles, and this was at Turner Field. And that's pretty much it for the tickets. I just have this one page, but it's really funny because I have this little, it's almost like a little suitcase, but it's glass. It's kind of hard to explain. And I might do like an ASMR video with it one day because I have movie tickets from the 90s in there. So it would kind of be cool, I think, to get that out and read through all of the tickets. And I might do that. That'd kind of be a cool video to do. So I'm thinking about doing that, but I'm big into saving things like that, just because I like to look back on them and remember, oh, I was with this person or with that person, and just, just things like that. So, all right, let's go ahead and get into this chapter of the book. And like I said, it could trigger some of you. So if you have issues with death or things like that, you probably don't want to watch. But the title of this is Disappointment, and I will just go ahead and read it to you all now. It says, the greatest disappointment I've had in my life thus far was the death of my grandmother, Mimi, my mom's mom. I'd always been very close to her and my grandfather, Pawpaw, but I was especially close to Mimi. When we both lived in Ohio, my sister and I used to go see my Mimi and Pawpaw on a daily basis. And I'm going to add this really quick because I don't think I mentioned it in here, but they lived in the same neighborhood that we did in Ohio growing up, so it was awesome. It was, I mean, you know how kids are with their grandparents. They always want to be with them and spend time with them, and so we were very lucky and very fortunate that we lived so close, and those are just some really good memories for me. It says, my grandmother was diagnosed with ovarian cancer when she was 49 years old. I was 4 years old at the time, and I remember her always being sick from the chemotherapy, and she eventually lost her hair and had to buy a wig. And I'm just going to add to that really quick. It's so strange looking back on it because I knew she was sick before. I know I was only 4, but I knew that there was something wrong, like way before she told my mom, or maybe it was before my mom told me. I just sensed something was not right. And I think it's really interesting how children are perceptive in that way, because I do think that they pick up on things sometimes that adults do not pick up on. But I think I was the one that went to my mom and asked what was going on, because I think my mom thought at the time that we were young enough to not notice what was going on, and they tried, the best they could to hide everything. Not hide everything, but to keep that from us, because they didn't want us to know that our grandmother was sick. I was 4 and my sister was 2, so we were very young, but I do remember knowing or noticing that something wasn't right. And then my mom eventually told me, or she tried to explain, the best that you can to a 4-year-old what was going on. But let's see. It says, I remember spending the night at Mimi and Pawpaw's house in Ohio. Mimi would always love to play with my hair, and after she was done, I'd go down to the basement with my sister and Pawpaw, and we'd play police. My sister and I would ride our tricycles around the basement, and Pawpaw would pretend to be a policeman and write us fake tickets, although they seemed real at the time. How I mentioned in here about her playing with my hair, those are my very first ASMR memories. That and she and my mom reading to me. Just very, very early on, I remember experiencing ASMR, and of course at the time there was not a word for it, and I was very young. But yeah, so that was my first experience with ASMR, and it's really funny because my grandmother, she and I were super, super close, and then my sister and my grandfather were super, super close. So I was kind of like her girl, and my sister was my Pawpaw's girl. And now it's really funny because with my sister, she has her 2 children, Lexi and Savannah. Lexi is definitely my mom's girl, and then Savannah, I think, is going to be my dad or my stepdad's girl. And it's just funny how things like that work out. I don't know if that's normal, or not normal, but I don't know if that's typical with grandparents, if one just kind of gravitates towards the other. But if any of you are grandparents and you kind of have that experience, let me know in the comments, because I don't know if that's just something that's happened with our family, or if it's kind of across the board that one grandchild kind of gravitates more towards the other. We still love both of our grandparents, and Lexi and Savannah did too, and they want to be with both of them all the time, but you can just kind of tell there's just a different bond with Lexi and then Lexi and my mom, and then Savannah and my stepdad, and the same thing with my grandmother and myself, and then my sister and my pawpaw. So that's just kind of cool, I think. But anyway, moving on. Let's see. When we moved to Georgia, my Mimi and Pawpaw moved to Tennessee. It was hard getting used not to seeing them every day, but we were able to see each other about once every other month. When Mimi and Pawpaw would come to visit, we'd do all sorts of fun things. They'd take us shopping and out to Billy Bob's, out to eat, etc. Let's see, really quick, I'm going to add to this that I remember when we first moved to Georgia, it was very difficult for me because not only did we move, we left all of our friends, we left my grandparents, and I understood that we were moving, obviously, but I did not understand why all of the change all of a sudden. So it was very difficult moving somewhere that you know absolutely no one at, and also kind of feeling like you've lost your grandparents in the process. So that was, for me, kind of a sad time in my life, because at that age, I didn't understand everything. But yeah, so I remember that being very sad for me. And something else that I remember, now that I'm talking about this, is the night before we moved, we spent the night with my grandparents, and I remember that morning, I knew that we weren't going to see them for a long time, but I don't think I understood really how long that was going to be. When you're used to seeing your grandparents almost on a daily basis, it's very difficult to start only seeing them every other month. So that was a little difficult to get used to, and it was sad because my grandparents would cry every time they left, and it was just really sad. But yeah. So for some reason, we went a long time without seeing Mimi and Pawpaw, but we talked to them just about every week on the phone. Oh, okay, I'm not going to read this just because it gets into my grandmother's death, and it's it's not something that I'm going to read, but I will briefly kind of condense it for you guys. Basically, my grandmother, let's see, I'm trying to think how to put this to where if family members ever see these videos, they're not going to be upset with me for putting all of our business out like that. But I'll just say that during this time, my grandmother's cancer came back, and this was when I was, I think, around 10 years old, and we had not seen my grandparents for quite some time, and we found out after my grandmother had passed away and was buried that she was gone. So that was very difficult to deal with, especially, me being my grandmother's little girl. I did not understand. I remember when we got the news, I could not even breathe. I just couldn't. I ran outside, and we had a dog in our backyard, and I ran outside to where our dog was, and I didn't know what to do. That was, I guess, my way of coping with it at the time. But I remember just staying out there and petting our dog over and over, and it was almost like I was just in another world. It's like I was present, but not really. So that was very, very difficult to deal with, and I think that I mentioned in my previous video, I believe it was the one prior to this, the Get to Know Me video, that everyone that has passed away in my life, I have not had a chance to say goodbye to properly. So that's just another person. I don't remember if I mentioned my grandmother in that video, but she's definitely one that I didn't get a chance to say goodbye to. I did not even know that she was sick again. So that was very difficult. And I'm going to, I don't know how much of this I'm going to be able to read because it kind of continues from the last one where I left off. And it just, yeah, so I'm talking about who told us, and I'm not going to go into detail like that, but I don't want to do that to them. But it says, my grandmother died at the age of 56, and it still upsets me to think about it and how we were never even told that she was sick. I know that she knew how much we all loved her, but it would have been nice to have had the chance to at least say goodbye. We were told that her cancer came back so fast and she didn't want any of us to see her in the condition that she was in. For years after she died, my grandfather could not even say her name without crying. He's made a lot of progress, particularly in the last 2 years. We can now talk about her in front of him and he doesn't get upset like he used to. Let's see. And then I'm kind of skipping some of this just because I don't want to bring other people into this, but I ended it with saying, I miss Mimi a lot and I think about her every day. I'm so glad that Pawpaw can now openly talk about her. It's so much fun going to his house and talking about the good times that we had together. And I know people can go through a lot of different emotions when something like that happens. I was never angry, like, why didn't you tell us? It was never anything like that. I just did not understand. I still, to this day, I've known people, other people's family members that have had cancer, and I've seen them, weeks and days before they've passed away, and I know how bad it gets. I know no one wants their family member to suffer and to be in that condition, and so that part I understand. I understand even if she told people that she did not want us to know because she did not want us to see her like that and remember her like that. I get that 100% because I don't know that I would want anyone to see me like that, even, my close family. But just not knowing is what still, to this day, bothers me. It's just like, how can you not even tell us? But it's just one of those things, it happened and you can't turn back time, you can't fix things, you can't go back. But I just wish that we would have known, not so we could have seen her. If she did not want us to see her like that, then I completely understand that and, respect her wishes on that. But it would have been nice to have just known, I guess, too prepared. And even something as simple as being able to write her a letter, would have been really nice, but we weren't given that opportunity, unfortunately. But yeah, so I have really good memories with her and about her, and I'm going to show you guys some pictures here. This picture was taken, I think, when I was probably 8, 9 years old, maybe. But my hair is a little crazy and I'm so chunky in this picture, but this is honestly one of the only pictures that I have of us together from when I was older. This was, let's see, this was probably just a few years prior to her passing. And then this is just a little poem. Let's see. I don't remember who gave this to me. It might have been something that we did at church. It kind of looks like it, but it's just something that I put in here. It's kind of like a prayer, and I'll go ahead and read it to you guys. I know some of you are not religious, some of you are. So it says, Dear God, my life is full of upsets and changes. I often wonder if you are really listening. Please help me to be patient when I am in a mess and listen to you. Please relieve me of any worries in my mind and help me to have faith in you and know that you are always listening to my prayers. Help me to be strong. Give me courage to face the future and to accomplish your plan for my life. Thank you. Amen. So that was something that I do remember reading this several times now. And that was something that just helped me and made me feel a little bit better at the time. And I have some more pictures for you all. This is a picture of my pawpaw right here, and that's me. this right there. That's Princess, and she is almost, actually no, she is 15 now. She just turned 15. She was so little in this. And then that's my mom and my stepdad and Pawpaw. And my Pawpaw, he is still alive. We actually just went to see him not too long ago, and it was awesome, and I love him so much. And he's hanging in there. He's, let's see, 83, I think, 84. But it's nice getting to see him. He does not live in Georgia. He lives in Mississippi, and so we try to go at least once a year to spend time and visit with him and all of that good stuff. So that is it. I'm not going to show you guys this because it's just things that I printed out from the internet, just various Bible verses and things like that, but I'm not going to do that in this video. I am going to go ahead and end this here. I don't want to get any more emotional than I already have. So, as always, thank you all for watching, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.